the island's first hydrogen vehicle, the Toyota Mirage, and Paul's letting me drive it. Geez, it's so quiet. We're here with Vincent Paul Ponthieu, who gets our next sustainability award for the innovation in renewable energy, both in solar energy as well as hydrogen. In the next 10 years, when you start seeing those buses that are hydrogen operated here on the island, it will be because of Paul. And set up our very first hydrogen gas tank on the island, has our very first hydrogen car. You're making it much more a reality for the island of Hawaii, and that's why I chose you for our next award.
This can make 12 kilograms of hydrogen per day in 24 hours. So to put that into perspective, a kilogram of hydrogen is the equivalent of a gallon of gasoline with BTU energy. If you were to burn them, you'd get the same energy release out of both. If you run the hydrogen through a fuel cell, it's over 3 times more efficient. So it's like 3-point-something gallons of gasoline. And to make that even clearer, the Toyota Mirai holds 5 kilograms of hydrogen. So that's like 5 gallons of gas. It gets 320 miles of driving on those 5 gallons of gas. H2 Energy bought this car, the first of many, hopefully, to come to the Big Island. And hopefully we'll be able to start the infrastructure for our hydrogen economy here on the Big Island. Hydrogen is a flammable gas, right? And it's the safest flammable gas in the universe. It's 14 times lighter than air. So it goes up at 45 miles per hour. That's 66 feet a second. So when you go 1001, it's 6 stories away already. Heat goes straight up. It doesn't go sideways, doesn't go down, it only goes straight up. So it doesn't heat up things around it or catch them on fire. That makes it safer than any carbon-based hydrocarbon fuel, because most gases are heavier than air and they flow like water and they sink. But I can put my finger an 1/8 inch from the flame and it won't burn. The heat's going straight up where you want it to go and nothing else gets heated up. And this is the best cooking gas that I've ever used. We're 100% off-grid. When you go off-grid, one of the things that happens is you have to oversize your system because you have to operate in all different conditions. In the mornings, when it's really sunny and clear, we have excess energy. So we take the excess energy, we turn that into hydrogen, and we store that for later use, for either vehicles, for stationary fuel cells, so we can be fossil fuel free even our backup generation. When we took the ranch off-grid, we knew storage was going to be key. And this is a lithium battery, but it's lithium ferrous phosphate. And after 14,000 cycles, they had almost 70% capacity still in them. That's over 38 years. So we know that they're going to last 15 to 20 years for sure. This is a 1 megawatt hour battery. We assembled and built this, and it's here for the community water system. We're standing at the site of the community's water well. It comes from Mauna Kea watershed. We put in a project with solar. Next to the lab over here, we have a field full of solar. And this battery gets charged during the day while the pump is running, and at nighttime, this takes over for pumping the water during the night. So 1,000 kilowatt hours of battery can run the well for about 14 hours. It's not for us, it's not to save electricity, it's to show people what can be done and what's possible. I'm accepting this for everybody at Blue Planet Research. We're a team. And I want to give a shout out to Hank Rogers, because if it wasn't for Hank, none of this would have been possible. We all appreciate it, and we're going to continue to do what we think is necessary to get Hawaii off of fossil fuels.
Another practical use for hydrogen is actually to apply it to cooking. This is a wok burner that's been converted to run on hydrogen. We'll show a close-up of that in a minute. But we use this to also demonstrate the lack of radiant heat in hydrogen due to the lack of carbon. So I'm going to open the valve up. There's an audible hiss of the hydrogen shooting out. It's gone up at 45 miles an hour. It's 14 times lighter than air. It's moving so fast and it's hard to build up a concentration. As you can see, it's blowing the flame around, but it's not igniting. As we get closer, it'll ignite because it's a combustible mixture at that point. Okay. We can can zoom in on this. Because there's no carbon, there's very little radiant heat. I can put my finger about less than a quarter inch from the flame, and it doesn't burn. Up here, it's extremely hot. Even the tubing stays cold from the hydrogen pulling the heat out. Again, there's no radiant heat. And as you can see next to it, this is a propane block burner that's got less time than the hydrogen burner. And it's been oxidized where all the paint has been removed. This one still looks brand new. That's the difference between hydrogen, and this was made with sunlight and water. This is an off-the-shelf 4-cycle Ryobi leaf blower, and it was converted to run on hydrogen. Start on the first pull. Emissions are just water vapor and air. Run cool. Conversion is simply removing the gas tank in the carburetor. We then drill the small hole near the intake valve of a hydrogen tube, and then change the timing to top dead center. And that's all it takes for a simple conversion to run an ICE on hydrogen.